Thank you for spending some time with us today. This is an exciting moment for Intel and our enterprise AI products and solutions. Before we get into these sessions, I want to set context on our strategy. Not just what, but why. I've spent a lot of time with our customers, examining our portfolio and taking a closer look at our roadmap and our overall strategy. We've been making changes for long-term sustainable growth, and it starts with Xeon as our host CPU and accelerated computing for AI with Gaudi AI accelerators. I'm excited about our collective mission and future. We're still in the early stages of the AI deployment, and the data continues to say that enterprises will drive broader adoption and growth. However, the compute required has put a spotlight on availability, performance, cost, energy efficiency, and security. These are key considerations for enterprises today. To address these, we're enabling an open ecosystem, just like we have in x86. And it extends from the hardware to the networking and interconnect technology, and all the way up the software stack, including through open frameworks and models. We're focused on delivering AI systems that provide viable economics for deployment. By driving efficiency with performance per watt, we're optimized for open source models. And we're enabling the enterprise ecosystem to deploy AI applications faster, leveraging an open source approach. We're excited to talk more about our announcements with Xeon 6 P-Core and Gaudi 3. Intel Xeon processors are the ideal CPU head node for AI workloads, and they operate seamlessly in a system with Intel Gaudi AI accelerators, which are purposely designed for Gen AI workloads. Together, these two platforms offer a powerful solution that seamlessly integrates into existing infrastructure. We're addressing many considerations top of mind for enterprises with Intel Xeon 6 with performance cores. They offer significant performance leaps for compute-intensive workloads like AI, high-performance computing, and database applications. Xeon 6 delivers this performance with greater power efficiency and continues to deliver the state-of-the-art confidential computing features included with Intel's trusted domain extensions. Xeon 6 with P-Core is also the best CPU for AI head nodes. With 96 cores, PCIe Gen 5 support, and the ability to integrate the most advanced DRAM technology in the market, you can build massive Gen AI training clusters with confidence. Our accelerator portfolio and investments in optimizations at a systems level are critical to broad enterprise AI adoption. The Gaudi architecture gives customers the Gen AI performance they seek with a price performance advantage that provides choice and fast deployment at a lower TCO. The Intel Gaudi 3 accelerator was optimized for LLMs and designed to scale up and scale out efficiently from a single node to thousands of nodes. So it can support enterprise needs, whether they are training proprietary models or fine-tuning and serving the latest open source models. In today's evolving AI market, the CapEx required to invest in scaling services can be substantial. That is why our focus is on building AI systems that reduce the cost per token and give you the flexibility whether you're deploying in a greenfield data center or an existing data center environment. Let me share a few examples of where customers see value in this approach. First, we're combining forces with IBM to lower the TCO of AI compute in the IBM cloud. IBM has a rich history of working with enterprises around the world, and they're choosing Gaudi. Another example is that Google is bringing Xeon 6 to their cloud. They chose Xeon to help improve TCO and performance for general computing workloads, including for AI and enabling confidential computing. This is a benefit of the optimized performance and efficiency that we deliver with both Xeon and Gaudi because we start by taking a systems approach. We believe demand will shift from being dominated today largely by frontier model training and serving to one where the market is more balanced. And there's a much greater focus on task-based model training and serving, as well as open source model serving. And we believe this will happen largely driven by enterprise AI adoption. And we hear that from enterprises that they want this capability. By leveraging standard silicon products in the roadmap and our open source based software stack, we're making it easier for enterprises to adopt new technology. A great example is with AI agents or RAG workloads, which are becoming increasingly important as enterprises look to deploy and scale AI models. And to address the challenges associated with enterprise RAG deployment, we're introducing Intel AI for Enterprise RAG. This includes easy to deploy, fully validated use cases built on our Open Platform for Enterprise AI, or OPEA. OPEA is an open source initiative which we launched in April, and it now has over 40 industry participants. We're also working with Dell to co-engineer optimized Gen AI solutions powered by Gaudi 3 and Xeon and running in the Dell AI factory to accelerate time to value for our collective customers. So when you're ready to get started, you don't have to wait. In fact, with the Intel Tabrah Developer Cloud, we provide an option for quickly ramping commercial deployment. And we're already seeing companies like Seeker help customers gain immediate access to a turnkey platform running on the Intel Tabrah Developer Cloud, where they can train and deploy their own proprietary AI solutions. Now, I will hand it over to Ryan Tabrah to walk you through Intel Xeon 6.
Thank you, Justin. Earlier this year, we launched Xeon 6 with E-cores, and we're excited by the market's reaction to our first ever efficient core product. Not only did we beat the program schedule that we committed to our customers, but we enabled them to get pilots up and running on our processors faster. Our customers are adopting Xeon 6 with E-cores for workloads like web services, networking, storage, and more. Feedback from customers has been positive. The efficiency that our E-cores bring has allowed them to consolidate a significant portion of their existing data centers with better performance, and at the same time, lower power envelopes. Today, we are excited to launch the next family member of the Xeon 6 platform. Xeon 6 with performance cores, or P-cores, are uniquely architected to deliver significant performance leaps in critical growth spaces like AI, HPC, and databases. We are lowering power consumption so our customers can scale within existing power constraints. We enable this while simultaneously maintaining the same hardware-based security features that our customers expect from Intel, like confidential computing and trust services to help keep data secure. And the results are in. We are delivering leadership on Intel Xeon 6 with P-cores versus previous generations. Specifically, almost up to 2 times the performance per watt advantage at a 40% server utilization. On HPC workloads, Xeon 6 takes advantage of more cores, higher memory bandwidth, and AVX 512, and we're seeing a 2.5x better performance. For AI inferencing, Xeon 6 shows up to 5.5x performance increase using Resonant 50 workload compared to the competition. We're not only seeing success with Xeon for AI inferencing, but also as the most deployed host CPU for AI accelerated systems. This is because Xeon 6 uniquely meets the requirements that our customers are asking for in their host CPU, like superior I/O and high single-thread performance. And speaking of customers, we're looking forward to our partners in ecosystem delivering Xeon 6 to the market. And now to hear more about our Xeon 6 processors and Gaudi 3 and our AI systems approach, I'll hand it over to Saurabh.
Thank you, Ryan. I would now like to talk about the work we are doing on enterprise AI with our data center accelerator product portfolio. Justin talked about our overall strategy earlier, and following up on that, I will also give an overview of our systems and solution strategy and plans with Gaudi 3. We look at the market through the lens of 4 key segments categorized by specific use cases and model types, namely frontier models, task-based or domain-specific models, open source models for enterprise models, and HPC and supercompute. Infrastructure stamps for AI today are dominated by training needs, but over time, we anticipate inference will dominate as companies start to derive value out of and monetize AI. Laying our sight on this trend, we are focusing on inference and fine-tuning initially, taking a systems-first approach. Our systems-first strategy is anchored on the tenets of working with our ecosystem partners and leveraging open industry standards. To that effect, we are publishing a reference design for our Gaudi 3 scalable system with 32 nodes or 256 Gaudi 3 accelerators, making it easier for more customers to deploy Gaudi-based systems. This design is modular and can be scaled out to up to 8,000 Gaudi 3s with the same scalable building block and Ethernet-based scale-out fabric. We are already building systems with this configuration to support our qualification and workload benchmarking efforts, as well as for customer access in the future on our developer cloud. We have a rich history of pioneering open platforms and reference architectures with Xeon. We are bringing that same rigor and experiences to accelerator-based systems, starting with Gaudi 3 reference architectures. Now, let's shift our attention to enterprise AI solutions. Conversations about hardware and infrastructure are great, but when it comes to enterprise AI, our customers care about solutions and end-to-end experience. To extract true insights from LLMs, retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, is a technique that is getting rapid adoption in the enterprise. RAG enables enterprises to customize LLMs on their proprietary data without having the need to retrain or fine-tune the LLM all the time. RAG also minimizes the adverse effects associated with LLMs, such as hallucinations, and enables organizations to truly customize and launch generative AI applications much more reliably and cost-effectively. Vector databases play a crucial role in a RAG pipeline, and today, the best destination to store these databases on and run queries on them is the Xeon subsystem. Gaudi 3, on the other hand, offers great performance per TCO for the LLM itself. Intel is leveraging the goodness of Xeon and Gaudi 3 on the same platform to enable the entire RAG pipeline focused on scalability, ease of use, improved TCO, security, and an open ecosystem-based approach. Today, I'm excited to announce our Intel AI for Enterprise RAG offering. With this offering, we will deliver end-to-end solutions for use cases such as chat Q&A, code generation, content summarization, and many, many more to come. These end-to-end solutions will all be based on our Open Platform for Enterprise AI, or OPEA, so enterprises can explore, experiment, and easily deploy RAG-based applications. Intel AI for Enterprise RAG will be fully qualified on Xeon and Gaudi 3 systems in collaboration with our OEM partners. Finally, I'd like to provide some details on the Gaudi 3 accelerator, which we are launching today. Following the tradition of the Gaudi family of products from Intel, Gaudi 3 is a purpose-built accelerator for AI. It will offer competitive price performance and power efficiency with up to 20% better performance than NVIDIA's H100 GPU on models such as the Llama 2 70 billion parameter model for inferencing. On price performance, the benefits are even greater compared to the H100. Over time, we expect performance to improve further with continued software enhancements. Gaudi 3 will be available in both the OEM form factor on a UBB with 8 accelerators connected in an all-to-all topology, and also the PCIe Chem form factor. With the Gaudi 3 PCIe form factor, we are bringing more efficiency to Gen AI with low power and cost, and ideal for inferencing, fine-tuning, and small model training. Customers can start small by dropping in 4 cards with relative ease and then easily scale their compute based on their needs. Besides silicon and systems, a performant and easy-to-use software stack is critically important for customers to harness the true power of AI infrastructure. The Gaudi software stack offers support for leading AI frameworks such as PyTorch and provides libraries and tools that helps developers to easily port models over to Gaudi hardware. We are taking a full stack approach to software with a keen emphasis on components such as cluster management, job orchestration, telemetry, data management, microservices-based solutions, etc., besides the core software stack for AI. With Gaudi, we're addressing choice with accessible platforms and affordable performance per dollar with an open ecosystem software. Gaudi 3 systems will be available in the market from our OEM partners, Dell, HPE, and Supermicro. Additionally, select customers will gain early access to Intel Gaudi 3 for validating AI model deployments in the developer cloud, with Gaudi 3 clusters set to roll out next quarter for large-scale production deployments. Speaking of customers, IBM has decided to adopt Gaudi 3 in IBM Cloud, underscoring its performance per watt advantages and cost efficiency, especially for enterprise AI applications. I will now hand it over to Anil Nanduri, who is hosting a roundtable where you can hear more about that and our other customers which are leveraging Gaudi 3 for their AI needs.
So thanks. Good to have Rohit and Vivek back on. Our customers as well as extremely wonderful partners for very many years. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
And as we know, AI is evolving very rapidly, right? And we can talk about kind of building the largest LLM and all the craze behind the models. But I work closely with a lot of the customers, enterprise customers who are actually trying to consume some of this AI. And there's a lot of domain knowledge and domain data sitting behind the enterprise firewalls. And for them, they're looking at primarily how to deploy AI at scale, have flexibility, have the choice that they want to build into their infrastructure, but looking at value of the AI deployments, and especially around how to apply AI into their work streams. And so some of the questions we would like to kind of bring that with your experience, and you work with a lot of end customers and enterprises, and wanted to have this panel focus on some of those topics, on the challenges the customers are facing and how we are working. So Rohit, if I could start with you.
Yep.
Intel and IBM have been co-engineering to deploy AI solutions. We recently announced some AI tools for enterprise customers. What do you see as the top challenges that your customers are looking for in the market? And how is Intel the right partner to help address this and work with IBM on this?
Great. So let me maybe back up and give a little bit of context on where we're focused as a cloud provider, and then I'll get into the Intel partnership. So as a cloud provider, we've been very focused on being kind of the enterprise scale cloud provider, right? We're not trying to go after, compete with hyperscalers. We're very, very focused in the segment of clients that IBM calls hybrid cloud and AI. And so we've really engineered over the last several years significant enterprise capabilities around kind of the 5 aspects that I believe clients need: resiliency, performance, security, compliance, and total cost of ownership. Those are the characteristics I hear over and over as I look at clients adopting hybrid cloud solutions, but also AI. So now when you look at the adoption of AI, we believe these two, I would say, amazing technologies fuel each other. Right? We're seeing many use cases where clients want to adopt AI on the cloud, but there are also many use cases on-prem. The aspects that fuel that decision-making is things like sovereignty, data protection, security, how you're dealing with their data. And so we're really making sure that across that spectrum, IBM as a company is helping clients on their journey on enterprise AI use cases. That's where we're focused. Our Gen AI platform is called watsonx. We've got a bunch of assistants around that. Now, where Intel comes in is, of course, on our cloud, we have other vendors, tech vendors as well. In our early testing with Intel, we, of course, do a lot with Intel on the Xeon side. In our cloud, a core of our cloud is Intel across our MZR fleet across the world. But specifically on Gaudi 3, what caught our eye was In our early testing with our research team, we found significant cost performance benefit, right? And so we've been, co-engineering in the early phase, and that led to kind of the announcement. We'll be rolling out some of this in our MZR fleets and going after joint enterprise clients.
That's wonderful, and thank you. And maybe let's move to Vivek from Dell. We've had, 30 years of collaboration, a long history and partnership of doing, many great things together. Can you share a little more about, Dell's approach to AI, and how does your approach help the customers to start on their AI journey? Because you work with a lot of enterprise and end customers, and the kind of innovations that Intel and Dell are working together with.
Sure, absolutely. We've been, I think, as I mentioned earlier this morning, we first and foremost think about ourselves as customer zero. So we are maniacally focused on how do we take advantage of AI for ourselves? And then, of course, we've got this tremendous reach across the whole world. So we have tens of thousands of direct sellers, lots of partners, which gives us unique insights into what enterprises want to do. So with those two lenses, what we realized is that what enterprises are really looking for is a way to easily deploy and scale AI and to extract the benefits and the advantages, which are around TCO and innovation and other business priorities, as well as have a choice. And that's really what went into our thinking and our launch of what we call AI Factory, which we announced at Dell Tech World in May. And when you think about AI Factory, it has multiple levels to it. It clearly starts with the use cases, because that has to be the anchor point. It has data on the other side, because you have to bring data to take advantage of the use cases. But then what we have in the AI Factory are three key components. The first is the infrastructure layer, the second are the solutions, and the third are the services. It's really services around day 0, 1, and 2 services to help our customers get started and deploy. Solutions are our Dell validated designs and Dell reference designs. We have well over 50 of these designs to help customers deploy them. And infrastructure is really where we work really, really closely with Intel around servers, storage, networking, software. On servers, particularly our flagship 9680, which we'll be launching with Gaudi 3 and Xeon, which we are really excited about. It gives customers a choice as well. And then on software, as I mentioned this morning, with our Omnia stack being interoperable with your OPEA, that provides for an immense ability for the customers to adopt and scale it relatively easily.
So you're building turnkey, easy button for your enterprise customers to be able to deploy it really quick.
Absolutely, because it has to be, for when you think about enterprises, they really do need that kind of an easy button to be able to deploy it, but have confidence it's actually going to result in an ROI for them.
With that, I think one of the challenges we see in the ecosystem is privacy and security, and especially the rise of Gen AI, right? And this is becoming very paramount, right? And so, Rohit, more from an IBM perspective, right? How do you see what is IBM's work and the strategy to actually ensure the data is protected for the clients as we bring in these new technologies for scaling AI? How are you approaching it at IBM, and then how are we working together on this?
Yeah, this is a great question. So, I talked about like hybrid cloud fueling AI, and AI runs on hybrid cloud. I mean, we've been on this mission from an IBM cloud perspective to really build out an enterprise cloud platform. And underpinning that are those characteristics that I talked about. But we've made sure that we've kind of co-created that with end clients in certain regulated industries. So we've got 100+ financial services. We've got several healthcare government agencies that have helped us build this cloud platform for their needs that serve the industry, but also what they have to serve from a regulator perspective. And that's the kind of innovations that's now also fueling AI. So, for instance, we run on our cloud the highest levels of encryption that you could find in the industry. We've codified into the platform compliance controls that are needed and provide the auditability that are needed for any regulated client to prove to their regulators. Right? So when you now apply an AI workload on that, it inherits those characteristics, because AI runs on data. You inherit those characteristics. And we've also worked with clients and regulators to come out with profiles around guardrails around AI that give you that level of visibility at the model layer. So we've got capabilities like what's-next.governance, as well as at that infrastructure layer that you could protect the data, make sure it's secure, compliant, et cetera.
That's great, and I also understand you have the ability to kind of have the responsible AI part of the stack, so you can give some assurance to customers.
Absolutely.
On the quality of the responses and the AI outputs that you.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay. So Vivek, you've been at Dell for a long time, and you've moved around and and come back to Dell, and you have a lot of experiences. What have you learned from your experiences at Dell and the other places where you worked at that actually would help customers? Kind of share a little more insights into your personal experiences.
Well, as you mentioned, I am a boomeranger at Dell. I have kind of traveled in different spheres and come back. I took this role on to lead corporate strategy about 15 months ago. We at Dell, again with the customer zero mindset, it was immensely clarifying for us, because we very purposely started thinking about how do we want to apply AI and how do we want to think about it. So the first thing we did is we created a simple strategic framework to think about AI. In, on, for, and with. AI in is in our products. AI for is for ourselves. How are we applying AI for ourselves? AI on is what the customers do on our products, and AI with is what do we do with the other ecosystem partners to bring it to our customers. With that clarity, the next thing we did is we thought about how do we want to deploy AI and how does it support our business strategy? And that anchored ourselves into the 4 key parts of our unique operating model, which we believe really allows us to win the marketplace. Ranges from end-to-end product portfolio, where we are number 1 in over 20 different categories, straddles services, server, storage, software, PCs, the entire breadth. Second is the largest go-to-market engine in the industry with lots of tens of thousands of direct sellers and lots of channel partners. Third is our global services presence, which is across 170 plus countries, 2,200 service centers, tens of thousands of direct team members, and of course our industry-leading supply chain, all anchored by our culture. So we said, how do we use AI to accentuate and enhance our business strategy? Which then led us to 4 use cases we focused on. Software development for our products, content management for our sales teams and more broadly, sales tools, and then our customer services, as well as our supply chain. So as we thought about it, and then we thought about what architecture we need to bring in, what data platform we need to have, we set up a chief AI officer role, which we were one of the first in the industry to designate that. We set up data governance around it. And now we're bringing all of those learnings to our customers. And guess what? The first two questions the customers typically ask us are, where do I start? How do I pick all these use cases? And amongst them, sift them out. And number 2, what do I do with our data? Which is really where our professional services organization comes in. Again, I think thinking of ourselves as customer zero has been immensely clarifying, and we're bringing those learnings to our customers now.
Actually, that's great. And we use our Intel internal manufacturing and our ITs as our customers. So I think there's a lot of learnings there. As we look at our spectrum of our joint customers that we have, there are customers who are deep tech, who understand the architectures, can program. And then we have customers who have data scientists, but don't have the, knowledge of the, the AI frameworks and deployment of different stacks. And then we have other customers who can't afford some of these, right? And so as we look into the, different permutations and capabilities of AI stacks, what customers want is an outcome. Hey, I want to do, generate a chatbot, or I want to do a kind of a, query, or do I want to do code translations, or be it, some kind of agentic and functional, trends that we have in AI is all about applying AI, right? Yep. And so, Rohit, back to you. At IBM, you have Watson X, and I know you spoke a little bit about it. But how do you see the competitive advantages and benefits that enterprise customers can have when you leverage the Watson X and something like a Gaudi?
Yeah, look, we've been at this Watson mission and AI for a long time, but WatsonX is very focused on, building out a strong Gen AI platform. It has the breadth in the portfolio and assistance, and like Vivek mentioned, right, in IBM, we really have this client zero culture. So it's being applied to our own productivity, to our own kind of internal digital labor transformation, our own code generation, and the efficiency of our developers. So, it's a very strong platform. And from a technology perspective, it's being built jointly with our cloud. It is also offered as multi-cloud, right? But we are fine-tuning that from a security performance, the characteristics I talked about through our cloud. We also are blessed with a super strong consulting team, right, that go to market on AI, right? So we're not going to clients saying, here's another AI platform. We're going with very specific use cases, right? Digital labor, code efficiency, modernization, et cetera, right? And there are 8 or 9 categories of use cases that we've co-created with clients that are built. And you could quickly see this is a full stack, all the way from infrastructure, and yes, infrastructure is trendy, to the platform, to the assistance, and then the go-to-market through kind of use cases. And that's how we go to market. Now, where Gaudi fits in, and is the early signs for me are super appealing, is that as clients are starting to use these in production use cases, specifically the area we've been focused on is inferencing costs. We see some advantages in our early testing, and which is why we're keen on deploying this in some of our MZRs. But more importantly, we got to continue co-inventing, co-creating with clients. Of course, we'll work together, and we work very closely with Dell as well. But really, the next 12 months, this is co-creating with clients to continue to push the envelope when it comes to cost performance, specifically for inferencing.
In closing, there are 3 things I want you to take away from today. Number 1, we are creating high-value AI systems with TCO advantages. Number 2, we're driving efficiency with performance per watt optimized for the latest open source models and frameworks. And number 3, we're empowering the enterprise ecosystem to deploy AI applications faster using open source tools. Thank you again for being with us today.